I've made more money in the last 3 years than the last 30 years combined. I used to think that working harder was how to make better income and how to build wealth. It wasn't until I lost everything in 2021 that I realized that this is the biggest lie we've been told about money. In this video, I'll show you exactly what I did to get out of this trap I'd been in for the last 30 years and the three truths about money that I adopted that completely transformed my mindset, enabled me to start building the life I never want to retire from. If this is something that resonates with you, like and subscribe below. I'm Nick with Potential Redeemed, and I help this generation crush their limiting beliefs about money to get unstuck and start adopting the right mindsets, skill sets, and assets to build wealth in this generation and create a life of financial freedom. Let's get into it. So in 2021, I lost everything financially when I stood up for my personal freedom and beliefs and rejected the mandatory injection that was popular at that time. I had a comfortable corporate job, climbing the ladder in a Fortune 500 company, making a great salary, and also had a successful career in the National Guard with a pension that was waiting for me upon retirement. I had to completely give this up, and when I did, I still had a wife, kids to feed, and a mortgage to pay. So I completely started over from zero as an electrical apprentice and started climbing the ranks as an electrician. And what I found was I was continuing to work harder and harder and putting in more and more hours, trading my time for money. It wasn't until I got into a sales role that I realized the first truth about money, which is working harder doesn't make you more money. Working on the right skill sets, it was what will drastically increase your income. When I started selling electrical services, I was able to literally triple my income in 90 days simply from stop trading my time for money in the field and using communication to be able to solve people's problems. So with that, I developed a sales process for myself and my company, was also able to double my income again within 60 days after that, completely transforming my family's financial position. There's also an anecdote from scripture that I love talking about that kind of hits home with this point, and that is when Jesus was calling his disciples, two of them were pro fishermen. They'd been in this trade for decades, sweating, laboring, catching fish, and one night they'd been out all night, hadn't caught a thing. And so Jesus called out from the shore and said, "Friends, take your net and cast it to the other side of the boat." And when they simply believed and without any extra energy or effort, they took their net to the other side of the boat. They hauled in more fish than they had caught the entire night. And there's so many fish that almost sank the boat and broke their nets. The takeaway from this is that I worked for decades working hard on the wrong things. And it wasn't until I took my net and cast it to the other side of the boat and started working on the right skill sets. That's when the needle started drastically moving for me financially. This is something that's starting to hit home for you. I have a free training in the link below. It's an actual section for my coaching program called the Millennial Money Freedom Training. Check it out below. The second truth about money is that money follows value. And value is simply your ability to solve someone's problem. So in my electrical career, right before I started selling, I began at working in an electrical franchise, a startup company where the owners were not electricians, and I was the only employee at the time. And what I did was got into a sales role, started solving problems, and we were able to take this company from $0 with zero calls scheduled to almost $4 million in revenue in just under 3 years. Complete radical transformation. And so that value I was able to provide for them and helping to grow that company, we were able to transform their future as well as mine. And that's where I learned as an entrepreneur, helping solve problems on a daily basis inside that company. That's where money follows value, because it not only changed my financial position when I started selling, but it transformed the company's position in their lives as well. The third money truth, this is one of the most important, is that money does not provide purpose. Money is simply a tool. When I started experiencing all the success in the last year I was selling for them, I was sixth in the nation out of 200 locations, and started acquiring assets for my family to build long-term wealth and also free up more of my time where I was trading my time for money. I still wasn't fulfilling my purpose. I was unsettled inside. I was not really content. And I knew I was capable of more, but it wasn't just that. I knew that I wasn't fulfilling the calling that God had for me. See, each one of you has a calling and a purpose that God created you for, and you're never going to find that complete satisfaction and joy of walking with God unless you're walking in the calling that He has for you and serving the exact people that you're destined to serve. So even though I had money and was doing quite well financially, it wasn't until I transitioned from being an entrepreneur as an electrical sales professional to becoming an entrepreneur, to doing what I do now with my company, Potential Redeem, where I help you demolish the lies about money that are keeping you stuck, upgrade your beliefs about money and about yourself, and adopt the right mindsets, skill sets, and teaching you the assets that work in this generation to build wealth now and create a life for you that you never want to retire from. So these three money truths: working hard on the right skill sets is what moves the needle financially. Two, money follows value, and value is simply your ability to solve someone else's problems. And three, money doesn't provide purpose. Only God does. And until you start walking in His calling and plan for your life, you'll never have that complete satisfaction, no matter if you're making millions or billions of dollars. If this video really impacted you and you got value from it, please comment below, like and subscribe. Like I said, check out that free training in the link. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.